6:30. We'll go ahead and get started. The regular meeting of the board, February 15th, 2024. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Adoption of agenda. It is recommended that the agenda of the February 15th, 2024 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second. Vote. Approval of minutes. It is recommended that the minutes of the January 11th, 2024 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented.
Motion. Second.
Vote. Statements and or questions from the public. We've got two. We've got Steve Robinson. Is it Joanne Voorhees. Okay. I'll remind you a couple things. State your name when you get up. You'll have 3 minutes to speak, and we can't address or use any individual names.
My name's Steve Robinson. I've got 5 kids in the school corporation, and up until Monday, my wife was employed with Aramark and cafeteria. She's still employed in other things around the school. I don't bring that up to say get her job back or anything like that. It's actually a good thing she doesn't work for them anymore, because now I feel like I don't have a conflict of interest with recommending my opinion that we review our contract with Aramark. I know we are in a contract year. I have heard nothing. So she's been there for several years. She worked there a long time ago. Nothing but bad things about the management, not at school level, but everything up above. As a taxpayer and a parent of students here, I don't know the purpose of why we're paying a third-party contractor when I graduated from Covington. I actually have a meeting next Friday with the superintendent of Covington, and I'm going to discuss pros and cons of using in-house staff to fulfill that need. I know when I went there, the meals that were provided, I grew up pretty impoverished, was some of the best food I had. Sometimes it might have been the only meal I had that day. The staff there was always, love on you, and I saw that here with what we had and what we still have with those who are here. I have nothing bad to say about the staff. It's just the company that we are utilizing. I feel like it is a desperate need of review. I won't get into any specifics, but I am planning on putting together a list of statements from former and possibly current employees, as some have reached out to me. I've had staff members outside of the food service program reach out to me that are still here. Most of them want to remain anonymous, at least with the ones that work with Aramark, for fear of reprisal. If that tells you anything about the company. I watch all the school board meetings you guys put out. I'm very proud of this group here, of the administration. I have nothing but good things to say, especially through all the COVID stuff. That's what I think about when we start live streaming. And that's, of course, I was very interested in what's going on. And you see all the things happening in the world, around the country. I saw none of that here. So I appreciate that as a parent and as a taxpayer, of course, just as a person. But I am putting together something. Once I get a good thing put together, I'll present it to you guys for your review. Maybe I can convince you to do something that I saw was, maybe something we're talking about later on today on the agenda. But because she no longer works there, now I'm free to, not throw her under the bus, I guess, and risk her employment. So that's all I have really to say about that. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Is that
Joanne.
Joanne Voorhees? Yep, sorry.
My name is Joanne Voorhees. A lot of people know me. I've worked in the school since 1995 in the food service. I've never really cared for Aramark, but this has been the worst year ever, how it's been handled. And we never have the things we need. I think that what happened Monday with his wife was handled very, very poorly. And I would love to come back and work, but I just can't come back when Airmark's in nature. I can't come in here and do my job when I don't have the things to do my job with. And we haven't had that all year at all. We have not had the help that we needed all year long. Maybe August we did. Everybody that comes in, they quit, automatically just quit, real soon. We just lost a girl that we just brought in, and she went into another section of the school to work. So I love it here. I love the kids. I love the staff. I love all of it. I love my job. We got along very well, but this has been the worst year ever. So that's all I got to say, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you.
I do have one question.
Yes,
Your wife and you, are you at the elementary or the high school?
elementary.
Elementary.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Joanne, how many years have you worked here?
Since 1995.
1995.
Yes, I started here in 1995. And if I may, I also quit this last week too, because I just can't handle it anymore. I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you for coming. Moving on, we've got administrative recommendations, claims. It is recommended that prepaid and January claims numbered 100723 through 100837 be approved as presented.
Motion?
Second.
Vote. Personnel. Personnel. It is recommended that Crystal Freed be hired to fill a maternity leave at Southeast Fountain Elementary School.
Sure. Crystal's been an employee with us for several years, and she filled maternity leave in the fall in 5th grade, and we'll do it again in the spring. She is pursuing her bachelor's degree in elementary education, so we feel like this is a really nice opportunity for her as a staff member. She did a great job in the fall, so we're looking forward to her doing the same this spring.
Thank you. Motion.
Motion. Second.
Vote. It is recommended that Macy Williams be hired as an instructional aide at Southeast Fountain Elementary School.
As Crystal makes the transition into the maternity leave, that left Crystal's instructional aide position open for the last quarter of school. So Macy graduated with her master's degree in December and has returned to the community and wanted a chance to get into the building. And so we thought this was a great opportunity to bring her in and give her that chance to be in the classroom with us. We look forward to seeing her soon.
Motion.
Second. Vote. It is recommended that Michelle Clark be hired as a custodian at Southeast Fountain Elementary School.
She has been working as a substitute custodian and doing some things for us. And we would like to bring her on for one of the vacancies that we have, rather than just having her as a long-term sub.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that Jeff Williams be hired as a custodian at Southeast Fountain Elementary School.
Likewise, Jeff has been working in a position as a substitute for us. And Beth has indicated that he's doing a really great job for her, and she's requesting that we bring him on as a regular employee as well.
Motion. Motion. Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the resignation from Adam Miller be approved as presented.
Motion?
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the retirement of Dave Bolin be approved as presented.
Motion. Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the resignation of Addison Allward be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. Donation. It is recommended that the $1,700 donation from Nucor be approved to assist the wrestling program and welding program at Fountain Central Junior Senior High School.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the $500 donation from the Petersburg Masonic Lodge 491 to assist the backpack program at Southeast Fountain School Corporation be approved.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. Field trip. It is recommended that the overnight field trip to Spain be approved for students at Fountain Central Junior Senior High School. They will be gone from March 17th through March 24th.
Motion. Second.
Vote. Fundraiser. It is recommended that the 50-50 raffle be approved for the FC After Prom. This will take place at the basketball games in February.
Motion.
Their goal is to raise $500 for after prom by holding the raffles throughout the game.
I've got a motion.
I'll second.
Vote. Outstanding checklist. A motion was made that the outstanding checklist be approved as presented.
Motion. Second.
Vote. Quotes. It is recommended that the quote from MCOR Services in the amount of $10,000 be approved to repair the heating system at Southeast Fountain Elementary.
That was due to an issue we had in like our fourth grade hall recently and had to get some work done on that.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the quote from Acorn Sound in the amount of $16,450 be approved to upgrade the sound system in the cafeteria at Fountain Central.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the quote from Acorn Sound in the amount of $28,711 be approved to upgrade the sound system in the gym at Fountain Central.
Motion. Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the quote from Hessler Paving and Contracting Incorporated in the amount of $95,813 be approved to complete the paving project at the tennis courts.
I want to tell you before you vote on this, you did approve last June for Hessler to do this. We are canceling that approval because we had to put the work on hold at that time due to tennis season and some other conflicts. So this isn't an additional appropriation. This is replacing what you got in June.
When is that scheduled to start? Like as soon as school's out or?
It's supposed to start as soon as the girls are done in the spring.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the quote from Hessler Paving and Contracting Incorporated in the amount of $13,600 be approved for the labor costs to complete the paving project at the tennis courts.
The reason we have them broken out into two separate quotes for you is because we have to pay for the work out of two separate funding sources. So I need it approved separately.
Motion. Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the quote from Second Gear in the amount of $28,983 be approved to purchase additional smart TVs for classrooms at both buildings.
Okay, each year, we purchase a number of these smart TVs and carts so that we can continually upgrade what we have, make sure we have stuff in each classroom, and then as they become obsolete or whatever, then replacing them.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the quote from Nupnall Designs in the amount of $61,000 be approved for the materials needed to complete the tennis court coating.
Motion. Second.
Was that Kim?
Yes.
Kim. Vote. It is recommended that the quote from Threat Extinguisher in the amount of $26,692 be approved to provide additional safety measures at all buildings on campus.
As part of our strategic plan, you may remember one of our goals is continually improving safety on the campus. And, this is equipment that will allow for panic buttons to ring either, sometimes depending which we push, can ring directly to an administrator. For example, I have a hostile guest at my office and I want an administrator here with me, or if it's more serious, we can push and it'll ring directly to the police. We need that.
Motion. Second.
Vote. Other business. A motion was made that the superintendent be granted permission to advertise for food service proposals.
This is the year that the contract is up, and because of that, the state requires that we put out RFPs. So I'm seeking your permission to do that, to see if any food service is interested. And then once we get those, then you'll make a determination if we're going with a company or working to do it in-house.
Motion.
Did you say?
Vote. It is recommended that the amendment to the 2023-2024 school calendar be approved as presented.
When the school calendar was initially made, we used one of our 3 state-allowed e-learning days for a plan for professional development. So the plan was that staff would come in on March 29th and do PD all day, while also preparing online e-learning work for students to do from home. I would like to change that and bring everyone in on 29th and just have it be an in-person day, because we have already had 3 snow days, 3 days that we've had to close, one of which is going to be made up on a flex day. By bringing everyone in that day, if we don't need any more school closures, and I hope the rodent was right, if we get that early spring, then that flex day that we already have to use could become our 3rd e-learning day. However, the other thing with this, that day that we were planning it falls on Good Friday, right before the Easter holiday. And I do want to recognize that many of our patrons, knowing that it was supposed to be an e-learning day, are either going somewhere for the Easter holiday or going to a religious service. So I would also like it to be a 2-hour early leave day. That does not affect our, we still meet the minute requirement for the school by doing that. So that's the first change I'd like to do in the calendar. April 12th, the flex day, which we will be using due to the 3 days we've had. As I said, it could become an e-learning day if we don't have another one before then. And the third change I would like, currently our flex days that we have remaining are April 12th, May 3rd, March 15th. We have already, the April 12th one's spoken for. So if we get any more, it would be, right now, March 15th would be the day that we close. That's right before spring break. Many families, because we've gotten this close, have planned things and employees. So I went to switch around and make the next flex day we would use after April 12th would be the May 3rd date, which is prom. And I understand that we may have some students absent on the day of prom. And then our last flex day be March 15th, because quite frankly, if I have a lot of people out on prom day, I can still teach school because it would probably be some students that are out. If I have a lot of students and staff out on March 15th, it's harder to have a normal school. So that's why I'm requesting the change.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. And with that, I think it's time for the elementary report.
We just start by saying thank you to Addison Allward for her time here with us. We wish her the best of luck as she has come to be with her family. As she said in her letter, this is not a goodbye, but a see you later. So we hope to see her back here with us someday. We also want to thank Officer Rainey. Today is National Student Resource Officer Appreciation Day. So he does a lot for our school. I know the kids love seeing him here, but he just brings a real sense of safety for our community as well. So we appreciate having him here every day. As part of the strategic plan, one of the sub goals and underneath one of the pillars was a pre-K advisory board be created, not only to bolster our preschool program, but to also bring together community programs eventually, just to have a nice coalition as our students come to us to kindergarten. So that team did have its second meeting after school today. So it's nice to see it off the ground and running. Lastly, I want to congratulate our robotics team. They had their first competition last Saturday in Lafayette. They came in 24th, but they learned a lot. So Mrs. Julie said when they came back to practice on Tuesday, they were more motivated than she'd ever seen. So really proud. It takes a lot to go out and perform like that. So they did great. Thank you.
How many are on that advisory? Committee.
6.
6. High school report.
Yes, it's gonna mirror Kelly's a little bit. So thank you to Adam Miller and Dave Boland for their time at Pound Central. They spent a lot of time and a lot of years of service for us, and they're going to be really missed. Also, thank you to Dan Sowers, part of with the high school. He does a great job, fits in very well for us, and anytime we ask him to do anything, he's right there for us. So that's much appreciated. Lastly, the corporation got the 3D grant again this year. Last year, we utilized it for the annual Teacher for a Day for our students, and we're going to do that again this year. It's going to be on February 29th. The applications are due tomorrow, but so far we have 26 kids that have signed up to be with a teacher, either in the high school or the elementary for that day. So it is really good to see our kids get into that. So. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
And unfortunately, no student report tonight. That's what I found out after school that they weren't able to come tonight. So.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah, Bryson Davis, Sammy Kraut, they're usually our students that give a student report, so they're
So
not able.
Josh, since Bryson's not here, you gotta tell the
Got
joke.
the dad joke.
I don't do that on purpose. It's bad enough that he does it.
Just tell him we need to.
Yeah, there you go.
Next
Yeah.
So we've got, for our spotlight tonight, we have the Fountain Central Solo Ensemble Band contestants. So excited to have them here.
So Indiana School Music Association puts on a contest every year, a district and state contest where all the schools in surrounding areas, the students get together and they play either solos or ensembles or both. They're grouped in their experience levels. So we have a young group, we have a lot of 8th graders and freshmen, and I think 1 sophomore. So we did a lot of group 4, which is a lower end, and group 3. And so we have our first group here. This is a woodwind quartet. And why don't you play a few notes? Play a few notes. Don't be scared. So they realize when you don't touch something for 2 weeks and you play it again, you're like, oh, we lost something. So, they're gonna do great, and I'll let Preston, I'll let Bella count them off. Go for it. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. So next we have a woodwind trio of all 8th graders. They're gonna stand in front, right? So judges, they go into a classroom and they play their ensemble music, and the judges rate them based on intonation, tonality, balance, blend, dynamic contrast, and even what they wear. Now, today we had a lot of practices after school, so we didn't get to change, but at contests, they always wear something really professional. And you can also stop here. Okay, play a few notes again, so you're not your first time listening. One, two, three. The last ensemble is our brass trio, so we have 2 baritones and 2 trumpets. Trio? I mean quartet. 4 of you. They're playing a piece called March. Let's play a few notes. And then pause. Good. Singing, ready? 1, 2, 1, 2. Ready? Go. Last, we have a flute solo. Preston plays a flute solo at contest and got a perfect score. So next year, I'm gonna make him go group 1 and he's gonna go to state. No pressure. always nice, this recognition. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Awesome.
Thank you, kids. That was really good.
I do have a question. I see some of you have like medals on your shirt or pin. So what is that?
You tell me. What is it?
Preston, I see you've got two there. What you got?
Well, we're giving a medal based on what you scored,
Okay,
just a few of us were sent back out.
all right. Nice.
Awesome.
Gold,
Yep.
silver, bronze, and participation. So all of
Okay.
our kids received gold rating, so right in the middle of the road with the score, and then Preston had his perfect score. I gotta keep mentioning that.
Nice. So is this group also some of the same kids that are like in the pep band at
All of them.
all of them? So that's why I was telling Tanya at the last home basketball game, I think you brought junior high and high school together.
Yep.
Sounded phenomenal. So, hats off to you guys. Really good.
We enjoy it, we like playing.
Yep.
You've done a phenomenal job with the band. I will give you a lot of kudos because they sound really, really good.
Yeah.
And it seems to be growing every year.
Sound excellent. Thanks for being here. Moving on to discussion items. Well, I think we've got a couple.
All right, the first thing, in the last few board meetings, we have had some questions about our athletic policy and participation. So we had opted to wait until you were getting a new board member, and then we let the community know that we would be looking at that moving forward. The current policy for athletics, it's just one sentence, policy number 322 in our handbook says, the school board subscribes to the rules and regulations of the Indiana High School Athletic Association and to the code of the conference to which our schools belong in their efforts to keep athletics on a high standard of educational values. But digging a little deeper into IHSAA rules, because we've been asked about participation, Jason Good, our athletic director, has worked a little bit on that. And one of the things he did was to reach out specifically to IHSAA. So Jason, can you tell the board who you spoke to and what we found out about allowing participation in our athletics?
Right, like you said, I read the bylaws over and over and kept coming across that you can't go to one school and compete at another. And I kept getting asked the same question. Finally, I called Brian Lewis, who's one of there's like 6 or 8 commissioners of the IHSA, and I described everything to him, and his only question is, are we talking about an accredited school? And I said, yes, they are accredited. And I said, then they cannot participate for you. So that means it'd be in violation of the IHSA rules to allow kids to go to another accredited school to participate in athletics for us. So that's why we don't.
And that includes the whole one class at the school thing. That's only for
That would be
homeschool.
for someone who is homeschooled. That doesn't have anything to do with going to.
With an accredited school, that rule goes out.
So, and because our junior high and high school are in the same building,
Basically, it says secondary, so for us, that would be 6 through 12. So we would be covered by the IHSA in 6 through 12.
he did get that participation question answered by the state. So the question that we were asked about, one group participating, it is an accredited school, so the IHSAA has said no to that. We also, at the elementary level, our 5th grade basketball participates with other districts. And you also reached out to them, and what was their
Yeah, even when
response?
you get down below, what happens, so like this first came up early, and so we called the league that we were playing in, and they said, no, you can't have kids from another school on your team. So it was either not playing the league or tell them that we couldn't do it. So, and I of course, reached out to a bunch of ADs too. Like years ago, South of Maine tried to do with one of their good quarterbacks that was at the time going to wherever the private school is there in Terre that's close to him. And I don't know how they came about it, but when they were about to let him play for South of Maine, everybody else in the conference said they're going to refuse to play him. So again, that's why, no opponent is going to put up with that. So we're kind of in a spot where we just can't do that.
So with that in mind,
I got
your hands right. I am recommending, this is just the first reading of the policy. I'm not asking you to vote on it tonight. But based on what we were told from the IHSAA, the rule for the one course that, according to IHSAA, is only for homeschooled students. However, I am recommending that we add the sentence that I have highlighted in green to our current athletic policy. Athletic participation for all school-sanctioned sports at all grade levels will be open to Southeast Fountain School Corporation students only. School-sanctioned sports are those with coaches who are hired and/or compensated by the school district. So in other words, that would not include things like the FAST program or the Youth Football League or whatever. Those aren't school-sanctioned that we hire. So anyone in the community could theoretically participate in those. I am talking about the things that we hire our coaches and take the kids to participate in leagues, whether they're elementary and junior and senior high. IHSA also already responded to, but I think that we need to have a policy for all students. Like any other policy, we don't have separate policies for separate grade levels. So that will be, I would like you to think about that. If you have any questions or concerns right now for Jason or I, and if not, I'll be bringing it before you again next month and asking you to vote on that. Would you want to approve that or not? The second item I have for discussion, our school board since the year 2004 has been compensated the same amount. It has never changed, and you are paid, the school board members are paid twice a year. They get $1,000 in June and $1,000 in December. So $2,000 a year. Just last week, I received notification from the School Board Association that on beginning in January, the Board of School Commissioners approved an increase in per diem rate. So now you can be paid a per diem instead of that flat. The maximum rates for 2024 are $150 for our regular monthly meetings, and then $75 for other meetings, such as when you're interviewing candidates for a board position, or we're having an executive session, or we're meeting with the auditors. And it was approved that this would be, if we adopt this, it would be made retroactive to January 1st, 2024. So I wanted to bring this before you. Again, this is discussion tonight. I'm not asking you to vote on it. I'm asking you to think about it tonight. And I want to tell you what that would mean. So right now, you're paid $2,000 a year. And it has nothing to do with if you're, I know most of you, all of you try to be at every meeting, but sometimes you simply cannot be. But it doesn't change what your compensation is. If we go to the per diem, it would be, you would be paid for the meetings that you attend. But that said, I figured out the $150 for 12 regular meetings would be $1,800. So that's just $200 less than you get. We probably conservatively have 10 extra meetings in a year. That would be an additional $750, which would be $2,550. And since the board compensation has not changed in 20 years, we certainly can think about that. But it would mean that, obviously you'd be there to be paid. And to give you an example, in January, on January 8th, you participated in a meeting to interview. On January 11th, you had the regular meeting. And on January 25th, you participated in a work session when about the work being done with our bond. So for January alone, we would owe you $300. In February, you're here tonight. one of you had to participate in the pre-meeting for the audit, and all of you are invited to participate in the post-meeting, so you would get compensated for that if we do it. Now, the other thing, we don't currently have a board policy of what you get paid, and I really think that needs to be in there because what happens is when the person who's doing payroll or I leave, we really need to have something in writing somewhere that documents. It'll be in board minutes if you approve it, but still, I think it needs to be in policy. So I wanted to, in discussion tonight, get your thoughts. Do you want to stick with the status quo, or would you like us to look at a policy where we move towards the per diem rate?
So if we went with the other, that pays you by the meetings you're here, would that be paid out monthly, or is that still gonna be, how would that?
We could do it either way. Probably Cindy would prefer that we still do it twice a year,
That's what I was.
just for the bookkeeping purposes. But, that's something that could change if the board wanted that to change. And like I said, with the new legislation, it's retroactive to January. So since the next time you would get a check is June, it's, if we stay with the current, when you get paid, it's still however many meetings you had attended from January up until the time that we paid, and then from that time to the end of the year. So is this something you want to pursue, or do you like flat fee?
I mean, I think it's
It doesn't
something,
matter if you're absent.
I think it's something that I would like to pursue, just because I think just paying on attendance alone, seems like it's a more fair way to do it, so.
Yeah, and then it's not gonna increase a whole bunch, especially if, each of us miss one or two meetings here and there, it's gonna come out pretty much equal.
Okay.
My
Well,
thoughts.
then I will.
What do you guys think? Except for COVID year, we would have made some bank. But yeah.
Well, let's not have any more years.
So we
like that.
don't have any.
All right, then I will, if that's something you're interested in, then I'll bring more forward next time that I'm meeting. Statements of the superintendent. We are currently in the midst of our biannual State Board of Accounts audit. When we had our initial audit meeting, it began a week ago Monday, so on the 5th of February. They told us it usually takes about 47 days. Is that what you had written down, Josh?
43.
43 days, okay. Well, they have now been in our building 8 days. They were there Monday through Thursday last week, Monday through Thursday this week. And they are all finished in our buildings now because things have gone so well. Now, so that's a good thing because it costs the district a hefty chunk for every day that the auditor's there. So we save the district a lot of money that way. Kudos to people throughout the district, but specifically Lindsay, Cindy Alward, Chelsea Campbell, and Bree Alexander. They had lots of questions for them about our food service accounts, about student attendance and enrollment, and just everything you can imagine. They have not found any discrepancies financially, which we have Cindy, so I didn't expect that. And really, the few things that have come up have been very minor things, nothing that we anticipate having any kind of findings towards us. So we're really excited about that. But the State Board of Accounts will be finalizing our audit in 2 weeks. They will come back and meet with the board and the treasurer and me and tell us of any findings or recommendations. They did say things from 2 years ago, like, for example, they wanted to know how often if someone would lose their job and their child become direct certified, how long it takes us to get them on free lunch. They said, well, you got that grant, you give everyone free meals every day, so that kind of took that off. Things like that we've put in place in the district just made a big difference too, so I'm thankful for that. Next, February is the second count. Each year, school districts have 2 ADM, average daily membership counts, and funding is based on your enrollment at that time. In October, at our first count, we had 1,004 students. Typically, we drop 5 or more students by second count day with December graduates and so forth. This year, we have only dropped 2 students, so our count on count day was February 1st, and our official count was 1,002 students. We had 1 less student in our virtual academy and 1 less student in our in-person count. So that is one of the best February counts that we've had historically. So I'm really thankful for that. In other words, it will not be a big loss of funding. About $6,000 total out of our school funding, which is, very minimal over the years. So really grateful for that. I want to share with you that last year, I was asked to serve on a state committee for a Healthy Schools Network and did some things with them. And they reached out to me today, and they also came and did a tour of our district just because, I said they could. But they emailed me today and they said to thank me for my work on that state committee and for allowing them to tour the district. They are gifting us with 4 high-quality portable air purifiers to use in our district wherever we choose to use them. So I thought that was nice. I wanted to share with you that we will be getting those. Next, I like to share when we get the exemplary behavior reports from IHSAA, and I have 2 of those that I want to share. The first one I'm going to share is about boys basketball from Darren Haas. And he said, the Fountain Central boys basketball team displayed excellent sportsmanship throughout the game versus Covington. The kids played hard, the coaches were very respectful toward the officials, and the fans were positive and supportive of their team. Good luck throughout the rest of the season. The second one that we received was regarding girls basketball. And we also received it from Darren Haas. He said, the administration as well as the coaches and players of the Fountain Central girls basketball program showed much class and sportsmanship throughout their game this afternoon. There was a very positive atmosphere and one greatly appreciated by the officials. Thank you and good luck to you as you begin tournament play next week. That was a couple weeks ago, obviously. Next, again, I share any of the things that get shared with me. Kudos to any of our departments. And the next was shared with me. It was a letter from Haley Webb, one of our high school seniors, that had sent to the cafeteria at Fountain Central. And it said, dear lunch ladies, thank you for all you do. You guys are the best cafeteria staff we've ever had. You guys care about us. You've improved the quality of our lunches. I love using real trays and silverware. Thank you for that. I appreciate you asking how I am, always smiling and responding to everything with kindness. You guys make lunch a much more pleasant experience. You guys deserve so much more thanks than you receive. I think you guys are the best. You are all fantastic at your jobs. And she even included pictures of a couple of her favorite lunches that they have prepared there. So I thought that was cute, and I like that, again, shout out to them. National School Counselor Day was last week, so shout out and thank you to Rachel Foxworthy Emily Watson, thank you. Sorry, my mind went blank there. And Tara Sims, our 3 school counselors, for all that they do for students and staff, all the work that they do for our community. And today, as our principal has mentioned, is National SRO Day. So again, we are very thankful for Dan Sowers and Scott Rainey and all that they do to keep us safe. Thank you and best wishes to our staff that will be leaving us towards the end of the year, whether retirement or going back to their hometowns or staying home to be mom with 2 littles. They will certainly be missed. And finally, thank you to our student performers. You did an awesome job tonight. And so many times in the local media, they highlight the things that our athletes are doing, which is great, but we have so many more talented students than just athletes. And I am so proud of you and that you showed up and showed out for Fountain Central when you were at state contest. And I'm so glad that we were able to spotlight you this evening. Thank you for coming here. I know it's difficult to get before others and a camera and do your thing, but you did a great job tonight, and I'm so glad to celebrate you. And one of the things that Mr. Foxworthy mentioned, asked about how many of you were in the pep band. I have to tell you, when you are at the games, what a difference it is in the basketball or the football programs. I mean, it just makes it more electric. So we love when you guys are there, the nights that you're there performing. We wish that you could be there at every game performing because you make such a difference there. So it might be the athletes that are on the court playing, but even as they said in the pep assembly at homecoming, without the band and the fans, it makes all the difference for those athletes. Some of you participate in some of those, so you get it. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for just shining for this district every day.
How many of you knew you was gonna get on the camera and be on the website? Did Mrs. Brown tell you that? Oh, see, you played more than just for us.
Well, it kind of is, and you can go watch it later on our website.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate that, Dr. Grimes. Statements or concerns from the board?
I want to say thanks to Danny Sowers and Scott Rainey. I've known both those guys for a long, long time. Not only do they do a very important job, but those 2 are the most caring people we could have in the spots. So I'm very gracious that we have those 2, and I want to thank them. As you guys said, you got Dave Bolin and especially Dave. He's been here for 30 years or something. Like, I remember the first year he came and I helped him with football, and he's been here for a long time and has done a great job for us over the years in many things as coach and as mentor to kids. And we're going to miss him. He's going to be hard to replace. And Adam Miller seems like he's done a very good job with the FFA. And like you said, Addison has just started, and I'm pretty sure as I talked to her and her husband that this is just going to be for a while, and I think she'll be back after the kids get in school. So thank you to all of that. And as I said, Mrs. Brown, the band is phenomenal, and it just keeps getting better. And I agree with Josh and Dr. Grimes, when they're at the games, it just feels like the game is more energetic by you guys playing than when you're not there. So thank you all.
And I will say, Mrs. Brown, I know you're, making a sacrifice just being here tonight with, your other family having some things going on tonight. So, that's noted and appreciate you being here for sure. So, and awesome job. And again, everybody that was here and the job that you guys are doing, it's much appreciated, and it's pretty cool to see because, I think Fountain Central has had a strong reputation of having a really good band program, and so it's nice to kind of see the numbers, coming back. So That's excellent. I'll give a shout out to Mr. Dave Bolin, my old high school football coach, and he will be missed. And I've got a lot of fond memories with Dave, and he was a good one. I think he's one of those that are really appreciated by the students as well. Just kind of the way he conducts himself, and certainly be missed. So shout out to him for the job he's done and the time he spent here at Fountain Central. So, and Dan, awesome job. I would say the same for Scott if he was here, but he's not. So anyway, with that, anybody else? Document signing and adjournment.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. 7:26.